Hi, welcome to another vlog for my summer reading vlog series. I don't know what to call this. It's just gonna be what it is. It's so nice today. For once, I'm not dying of heat stroke. It is truly the perfect weather to dive into more unhinged YA chaotic summer reads. I was in the mood for this second video to read Melissa Delacruz, and so this whole vlog we are reading only Melissa Delacruz books. We are starting off with none other than The Au Pairs. I'm so excited. But this is the first book, I believe, in a trilogy. I don't actually know how many books there are in this series, but to be honest, I only have the first two books. Depending on how good it is and how into the series I get, I don't know if I'm gonna go into book 3. I don't remember finishing this series. I think I remember only getting up to book 3. I do remember really loving this series, and I only ever read it during the summer. I'm going to read the back of the book for you so you guys kind of know what this is about. 3 girls with 3 agendas and the ultimate destination, the Hamptons. Unhinged. Like, there was so much drama. I mean, it's the Hamptons. Messy, drama, scandal. You know, that's all me. That's my personality. Summer in the city, way overrated. Everybody who's anybody in New York City summers in the Hamptons. Mara, Eliza, and Jackie all want a piece of the action, and for different reasons. So the girls answer a classified ad to become au pairs. How bad can it be? Watching a couple of kids on the beach all day. They've got the swank address, the sweet ride, and an all-access pass to the hottest social scene on the East Coast. It's shaping up to be the summer of their lives. Oh my God, I'm so excited. 17 magazine blurbed this and said it's a guilty pleasure beach read. Yeah. When did this come out? This came out in 2004. I was 11 years old in 2004. Like the first vlog, I'm going to go into every single detail with this. You're going to see me every 5 minutes. Sorry to say. I'm really sorry to say. I don't know what to tell you guys. There are just such good lines in these books. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's get started. The first page here, I'm assuming this is the classified ads, and it says, summer au pairs needed immediately for 4 energetic children between 3 and 10 years old. 4? Oh my God. My biggest nightmare, actually. Join an NYC family for the best summer of your life. East Hampton, July 4th through Labor Day. Pay $10,000. Wow, kind of iconic, actually. Driver's license a must. Familiarity with Hamptons a plus. Send resumes and headshots to hamptonsauPairs@yahoo.com. Yeah. Iconic. Giving very much 2004. All right, the first chapter, Port Authority Take 1, Eliza experiences public transportation. Okay, page 1, we already have drama. We're following the first main character. Her name is Eliza Thompson. She's sitting on the back of a Greyhound bus, and she goes, seriously, how hard could it have been for her parents to spring for a ticket on JetBlue? And we already have the beginning of a major scandal. The nightmare had begun a year ago when some people started looking into her dad's accounting practices at the bank and dug up some misdirected funds. So her dad's a criminal, love. Several details had been leaked. The papers had a field day with a $1,000 umbrella stand on his expense reports. The lawyer's bills added up quickly, and soon even the maintenance on their 5-bedroom, 5-bath co-op was just too much. The Thompsons sold their cottage in Amagansett. I have no idea where that is, which was actually the size of an airplane hangar. Okay. To pay their mountain legal expenses. Next, they sold their beachfront condo in Palm Beach, and then one afternoon, Eliza came home from Spence, her elite all-girls private school, to find her maid packing her bedroom into boxes. So, a fall from grace. We love A Fall from Grace. The next thing she knew, she was living in a crappy 2-bedroom in Buffalo and enrolled at Herbert Hoover High while her parents shared a 10-year-old Honda Civic. Forget AP classes, forget early admission to Princeton, forget that year abroad in Paris. God forbid. But thank God for rich brats. The call from Kevin Perry had come yesterday. He was looking for a summer au pair, and could Eliza make it to the Hamptons by sunset? Kevin Perry's law firm had been instrumental in keeping her dad out of the big house. Of course, of course. So he was one of the only people who knew about their situation. The girl who used to have personal shoppers at Bergdorf's had come this close to waiting on pimply classmates, determined to squeeze themselves into 2 sizes too small, cheap-ass polyester spandex. She shuddered at the thought. Ugh, I'm eating this up already. I am eating this up already. Yeah, this is giving me exactly what I knew it was going to give me. I knew it was going to give me this. Life had always waited for and waited on Eliza. She never even wore a wristwatch. Why bother? The party never started till she arrived. Period. Okay, I guess she took the bus back to Manhattan, and then her friend Kit, who is a childhood friend that they used to live across the hall from each other, is picking her up to take her to the Hamptons. Now I'm on chapter 2 and we are following the other main character, Mara. Port Authority, take 2. Mara has small town girl written all over her. Are we getting 3 different main characters that are all different tropes? Eliza is the rich Manhattanite fallen from grace, now has to be amongst the peasants. And Mara is a small town girl. Oh my God, I love this. I love it so much. Okay, yeah, Mara is definitely a small town girl because received the news that she got the job as an au pair in the Hamptons for $10,000 for 2 months. And she's going to use the money to pay towards college and maybe have enough left over to buy a sweet little Toyota Camry at a used car dealership. She's a girl after my own heart. Yeah, because I feel that. Feel. I'm closer to Mara than Eliza. Oh, by the way, Eliza had just broken up with her boyfriend because with her fall from grace, her ex-boyfriend was the heir to a huge pharmaceutical company. Obviously, she just doesn't have the reputation to be with him anymore. And it seems like Mara is dating a guy named Jim who hadn't been too pleased she was leaving him for the summer. He was pissed. It had all happened so quickly that Mara hadn't even had a chance to tell him she'd applied for the job. And Jim wasn't the kind of guy who liked Mara making plans without him or plans that didn't include him or really any plans at all that he hadn't approved of beforehand. He's a red flag, babe. Run while you fucking can. So now we're on the 3rd chapter and we are now following Jackie, the 3rd main character. Okay, I guess Jackie's real name is Jacari Velasco, and I guess she's from Brazil. It says, in Sao Paulo, she was so accustomed to being hit on by older men that figuring out how much she could get away with was a favorite pastime. As a sales girl at Daslu, the most fashionable store in Brazil, she had zipped the country's richest women into handmade Parisian ball gowns. She was no mere wage slave either, more like a glorified stylist, as the store only employed girls from roughly the same social class as its customers. Jackie's family wasn't rich, but her grandmother sent her to a prestigious convent school in the city where Jackie was a middling student. Interesting. Of course. Jackie started filling out her C-cup bikini top. Men had noticed her. Their eyes lingered on her chest, her hips, her long black hair, and Jackie came to believe that being beautiful was the only thing she was really good at. It was certainly the only thing anyone ever paid attention to. Wow, we have such 3 different personalities already. Okay, then of course she meets a boy named Luca, and he's an American boy she met in Rio doing carnival, and she likes him because he was the only boy who didn't at first hit on her. Of course. Luca was spending his spring break backpacking through South America and seemed totally unimpressed by Jackie's glamour. He listened to Jackie like he really cared what she thought, and she was quickly charmed by his lazy smile and enormous backpack. Luca had told her the sexiest thing about her was her brain. Of course. Then after an amazing week, he just disappeared. He left without so much as a goodbye or a note with his email address. She didn't even know his last name. Jackie was crushed. For the first time in her life, Jackie was in love. This boy was playing her, and he definitely has a girlfriend back home. 100%. 100%. He had once mentioned his family normally spent the summer in some place called the Hamptons. Jackie's definitely getting an au pair job in the Hamptons to track this man down. This is the drama that I fucking live for. Yep, she was convinced she'd find her Luca in the Hamptons somewhere. And if not, she could always fly back home. It wasn't as if she really needed the job. I'm so happy right now. I just know this drama is going to be sickening. Hey guys, okay, so each chapter is in a different girl's perspective, so we're going to be jumping around bouncing back and forth here. I'm now on Eliza's chapter, and she has made it back to New York because her friend Kit, he is going to pick her up to drive her to the Hamptons. He's asking her how everything is, knowing that her dad basically almost got arrested and they lost everything. She's trying to lie to him and make it seem like everything is okay. She's apparently staying at her uncle's place in the Hamptons, but it's not really her blood uncle. The uncle that she's talking about was one of her dad's lawyers, and she's really just helping him out. And her uncle is the one that put the ad for all the au pairs. Kit then asks her, "Do you have any plans for tonight?" when they arrive at the Hamptons. And she goes, "No, what's up?" And he goes, "A couple of the gang are hitting resort. There's a party in the VIP room around midnight. Then afterward, there's P. Diddy's red, white, and blue soiree at the PlayStation 2 house." Mention of Diddy in 2026 is crazy. But the PlayStation 2 house, wow. And she goes, "She knew the guys who ran the PlayStation 2 house. A couple of New York club promoters had convinced Sony it was a good idea to fund a weekend party house to market their new games. In the Hamptons, it was unofficially known as a model landing pad, kind of like the Playboy Mansion, but with nubile flat-chested 18-year-olds who were more likely to be found marching down a runway than spread eagle in a centerfold." I can't. And then her friend Kit goes, "Okay, I'll put you on the list." Iconic. There's a list we love. Then she asks him, "Hey, have you seen Charlie around, by the way?" Who was her ex-boyfriend that she broke up with. Kit says, "Last I heard, he was dating some hoochie he met in summer school." Not some hoochie. She was already invited to some pretty fabulous soirees in the Hamptons, and even if her ex-boyfriend was currently unavailable, Eliza loved him and was coming back to retrieve what was rightfully hers. Imagine if Charlie is actually Luca and the guy that Jackie fell in love with. Could you fucking imagine? Oh my God, I would die. Oh my God, our sweet girl Mara, small town Mara, she takes a taxi cab to the bus station that's gonna go to the Hamptons, and she didn't know that she was supposed to reserve a seat on the bus. They're completely booked. So she's fucked. She starts throwing a fit, and then an elderly woman that is boarding the bus is like, "What's wrong?" And she tells her, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to make my job for this summer if I miss this bus." And she goes, "Okay, you can take Muffy's seat," who's her dog, a little chihuahua. Then on the bus, the chihuahua pees on her. There are just so many stereotypes here that I'm like obsessed with. Okay, I have no idea how old Jackie is. I was assuming these girls are all in high school, and I think she is, but she's literally in a limo on the Montauk Highway with a movie producer. His name is Rupert, who is giving her a ride to the Hamptons. I don't know how she got in this situation, to be honest. He is married, mind you, and is like trying to hook up with her. This is insane, truly. She tells him that she's going to be an au pair for Kevin Perry. This guy Rupert tells her, "Kevin Perry, that lucky bastard. Maxine and I know him. My wife, we just got married last year. It wasn't my idea." And then he starts running his hand up her toned thigh, just short of her denim miniskirt. Interesting. Oh my God. And then they're driving. It says they were both jostled by the limo swerving to miss a Mercedes convertible, which is the same car that Kit picked Eliza up in. Jackie looked out the window and saw a cute guy giving the limo the finger while a blonde girl laughed beside him. "Luca?" she called. It looked like him from the back. Was it? She couldn't be sure. Thinking of Luca sobered her up. What the hell was she doing in the back of a limo with a guy twice her age? Oh my God, so maybe Kit actually was pretending to be Luca. The drama. Has anyone been to the Hamptons? Because I've always been interested in going. People talk about it and romanticize it so much, and it's such a popular destination. But if any of you guys have been, let me know, because the way that they are describing the Hamptons when these girls get there, it feels luxurious. It feels so summer. A white summer cottage, red Tiffany & Co. in the window, another rustic shack, red cashmere Hampton, a glittering assortment of Mercedes, Jaguars, BMWs, and Porsches made a slow rumbling parade down the center of town, where a giant windmill towered at the intersection. Everyone moved at a leisurely, languid pace. Elegant women with psychedelic silk scarves wrapped around their heads carried fluffy white dogs in their Hermes pocketbooks. Balding men with women less than half their age walked arm in arm down to the nearby park. Giggling teenagers wearing nothing but the tightest tube tops and the highest platform wedges darted in and out of traffic. The way that it's described feels like those episodes from Gossip Girl when they were in the Hamptons. That's really what it feels like. But I've never been there, so if you've been there, let me know if that's an accurate description, if it's really like that. Mara and Eliza meet because the meeting place for Kevin Perry to pick them up is at the giant windmill But instead of Kevin picking them up, Ryan Perry, his son, picks them up, and Eliza already knows who Ryan is because their families have been friends for years, but Mara has never met him, and of course, small town girl, she thinks Ryan is the hottest guy to ever grace her presence, and she immediately forgets about her boyfriend back home, Jim. She literally in her inner monologue goes, guys like that are so out of my league. Not that she was in the market for one. She did have a guy at home. What was his name again? Jim. Right. Period. Ryan Perry is so hot that it made her forget about her own boyfriend. Yeah. Sounds about right. Ryan Perry was the type of guy girls swooned over and guys consider their best buds. That he was superlatively good looking was intrinsic, yet somehow irrelevant to the totality of his charm. He had that sunny, good-natured disposition that came from being incredibly lucky, both in looks and in life. He wore the mantle of privilege carelessly, and would have just been as appealing driving a Pinto as a Porsche. He was the kind of guy who was loyal to his girlfriends. Doubt it. And could always be counted on to bring the biggest liter of tequila to any party. So typical rich teenage boy. Yeah. And of course she's obsessed with him. And is it going to be a, rich boy, small town girl trope? Possibly. I wonder who Luca is. Is it Kit? Do you guys think it's Kit? I think it's Kit. We'll see. Okay, I needed to, this whole scene of the three of them finally meeting. Ryan, Mara, and Eliza get to the house. Jackie, of course, pulls in a Hummer limo. It goes, Jackie certainly knew how to make an exit, or an entrance, if you will. She let the newcomers take in her presence, then turned around and hitched her hip to the side, kneeling on the car door to say goodbye to her patron. Fucking iconic. Jackie, diva. Eliza and Jackie hit it off because Jackie's wearing a pair of, I guess, designer boots. Eliza is already complimenting on her boots. And then Eliza is introducing herself and she goes, Eliza Thompson, that's Ryan Perry, our boss. She snickered. And I forgot your name. Mary, right? Mara said with steel in her voice. She wasn't going to let Blondie here push her around. Period. Good for you, Mara. Stand your ground. I hope she really does have a backbone and doesn't let them walk all over her. What I really wanted to let you guys know is that one of the twins comes to meet them. She is a chubby 10-year-old girl with unruly curls that ran out of the side door, wearing a bright pink bathing suit, goggles, and flip-flops. She barrels into Ryan, her older brother, and tags him as "You're it." And he calls her by her name. And are you guys ready for her name? Her name is Madison Avenue. 10 out of 10? No notes whatsoever. Ryan saw that whole exchange that Eliza basically dismissed Mara. Ryan tells Mara, don't let Eliza bother you too much. She can be a pain, but she's actually really nice. She's just going through a lot right now. Sometimes I hate when people let their friends talk to other people so fucking crazy like that, but I guess in his world, that's just how a lot of people talk to others that they don't know or aren't in their circle. So it makes sense, but that pisses me off. Check your friend. This next chapter, the title is, This is What Let's Burn the Money to Keep Warm Looks Like. Guys, I am eating this shit up. Eating it up. Okay, guys, I am officially 50% through the au pairs, and buckle the fuck up because the sheer amount of drama that I have to catch you up on took 5 pages worth of notes from me. Okay? 5 pages. This book is Y2K summer teen drama perfection. This is everything to me. Since the last time that we met, the girls now are at Kevin's house and they're met by Lori, who is Anna, Kevin's wife's assistant, right? So Anna and Kevin are the ones that hired the au pairs to watch their children. 4 young kids and then 3 older kids. I'll get into it. They have 7 kids together. We'll get into it. So first things first, Lori, Anna's assistant, is described to be a frowsy, Frowsy. I've never heard that word in my life. I don't know what it means, but she's described as a frowsy, overweight woman in a pink sweatshirt with a Nokia hanging on a chain around her neck. And she goes, I'm Lori, Anna's personal assistant. Anna's not back from her Reiki session. Reiki. So she asked me to welcome you and give you a tour of the house. Sorry, but I'm going to have to ask everyone to take off their shoes before entering. The zebra wood hasn't been oiled yet. It's too good. It's too good. She gives them a house tour, and then they end up in the backyard where there's a pool, and then also it leads down to the beach, and there's a bunch of seagulls there. And she literally tells these girls, we keep trying to give these seagulls poisoned bread to keep them off the property. And then Mara in her inner monologue goes, it's crazy that no one reacted to this seagull aside going on. I can't make this shit up, guys. I truly cannot make this shit up. Okay, and then Laura takes them to their rooms, and Eliza, rightly so, looks at the room that they're all going to be sharing, 3 of them in one room, and goes, 20,000 square feet, and all 3 of us have to share one godforsaken room. I am dead. But also, yeah, what the fuck? And their room is in the attic. So there's one single bed and a bunk bed. Eliza takes the single bed, of course. Jackie takes the top bunk, and then Mara is in the bottom bunk. Immediately, Eliza and Jackie start smoking cigarettes. Fucking iconic, 10 out of 10, no notes. Then the girls go down to meet Anna, who is by the pool with all of the kids, and she's wearing a metallic gold bikini and stiletto mules. Diva. Absolute diva, and we love to see it. Kevin Perry, he is a typical old white man, bald in a Hawaiian shirt and Bermuda shorts. When he introduces himself to the girls, he shakes each of their hands, but his hands linger a little bit longer on Jackie. And I don't know what it is about this book, but it's really making it seem like she attracts older men. I can't. I can't. So here are their children. We have Ryan Perry, who's the eldest, and he's the hot older brother, right? And then we have Sugar and Poppy, who are twins, and they are the girls' age. They're all teenagers. The au pairs are for the 4 youngest children, and that's William, who is 9 years old and has ADHD and regularly takes medication for it. Madison, who I think is 7 or 8, and she's on a strict diet. Anna doesn't want her to get bullied and be the fat one in school, and she puts her on an 800-calorie diet. And then we have Zoe, who's 6 years old, and she's entering the 1st grade. Her focus for the summer is to get her to read more. And then we have Cody, who is the baby of the family, and he's, I believe, like toddler age. And it's so funny as Anna is, you know, describing all of the kids and the issues or whatever is going on with them. Each of the 3 girls have completely different thoughts. Mara goes, oh my God, a 9-year-old on so much medication already. And Eliza, in her inner thoughts, is thinking about what outfit she's gonna wear for the party later that night. And then Jackie literally doesn't care what's going on. All she wants to know is when she's gonna have enough time to find Luca. And I love that this establishes each of the girls' priorities from the get-go. So then, because Eliza has grown up with this family and, you know, gone to summers with them, she immediately warns the other 2 girls, the kids are crazy and Anna is a nightmare. And she basically tells them it's better to just stay away from the kids. And Mara, in her inner thoughts, is like, stay away from the kids that we were hired to watch. And it turns out Anna is actually Kevin's 2nd wife, and the only kid that they share is Cody, the baby. So all of the other kids are from Kevin's previous wife. Anna used to be Kevin's personal assistant, and they had an affair for a really long time before Kevin left his first wife for her. Drama, tea, scandal, I ate it up. To backtrack a little bit, as Anna is, you know, introducing these kids, she's also talking about how it's the 4th of July that day, or the 4th of July weekend. And she's like, we're going to have a small family barbecue here at 7 o'clock, you know, make sure to show up. And she's like, I'm thinking avocado salad. I'm thinking we get some ahi tuna. I'm thinking burgers and all this stuff. And the girls are like, okay, yeah. And so she tells them dinner's going to be served promptly at 7 because then her and Kevin have other engagements to go to after. The girls go up, change, get ready for dinner. They come down and they're like, where is everyone? The kids and Anna and Kevin come and they're like, where's the food? And that's when the girls realize Anna wasn't inviting them to dinner. She was inviting them to cook dinner for them. They decide, okay, well, whatever, just take the kids to the main beach, get some food at the boardwalk, and watch the fireworks. Me and Kevin have other engagements. These parents are not present whatsoever. But what did we expect? You know what I mean? And so the 3 girls take the kids to the beach. They lose William almost immediately. He goes and runs off. Mara is the only one with any sense of urgency. She asks Jackie and Eliza, where's William? They're like, I don't know. So she like literally goes off and tries to find him. Then when she finds William, she brings him back. And then all of the kids start talking to them about their 3 previous nannies that were there before the girls were there and how they all got fired for some reason, but no one knows why. I'm dying to know. What's still 50% and we still don't know why. But throughout the chapters, they ask Anna and try to get some information from people, but no one knows why clarify exactly what happened. And so the girls are kind of on edge a little bit because they are scared that what if we do something, then we all get fired. Mara's really the only responsible one. As they're at this beach, they watch the fireworks end, and then Eliza's like, okay, well, I gotta go. I got invited to a party. Remember the party that Kit invited her to? And she looks at Jackie and she's like, do you want to come? And Jackie's like, yeah. And Eliza looks at Mara and she's like, you got this, right? And they literally just leave her with all 4 kids. The way I couldn't even. I couldn't even. Then they get to the party and Eliza sees all of her old friends. None of her friends know that she now goes to a public school. They moved to Buffalo. They don't have any money. All of her friends think that she got sent away to boarding school, which is why she doesn't go to their same school anymore. So she's trying to basically still put a front as if nothing's wrong and that she's still part of the popular crowd because she used to be the it girl. Jackie meets her friends, but she literally is not paying attention whatsoever. She is on the hunt for Luca. She's literally scanning the party for Luca. Now, as this is happening, Mara is by herself with the kids. I would die. When Jackie and Eliza went back to the house to get ready for the party, they saw Ryan and they told him that Mara was still there with the kids. So he goes and joins Mara at the beach with the kids. And he actually does really help discipline them when they're acting out. He calls out their full government name and they immediately stop fooling around. And he literally says to Mara, I'm sorry they're out of control. No one ever taught them boundaries. And at least he is aware of that. But I feel also too, as the eldest sibling, he could participate a little bit more in being a good example for them. But he himself is not really around either. He's going off and partying every night. You know what I mean? He's part of the it crowd. He's the hot guy. Then Mara and Ryan start to get to know each other a little bit more. They go back to the house and Ryan goes, after you put the kids to bed, do you want to play Scrabble? Do you want to play a board game? And she's like, yeah, okay. So she puts the kids to bed and she searches the house, can't find him. He's not anywhere to be seen. He leaves her a Post-it note and says, sorry, duty calls next time. And she does what any girl would do when a cute guy that flirts with you or that you're remotely interested in would do after rejection. And that's call her boyfriend. Yeah, we forgot that Mara has a boyfriend this whole time. Jim, back home. Yeah. Cut back to the party. Jackie finds Luca. Yeah. And his name is actually Luke, but she calls him Luca. He's a little drunk and being super casual with her, which is the complete opposite of how he was acting with her when he was on vacation with her in Brazil. And so she's a little taken aback, but they end up going to his place and he's drunk. And so they start making out and they're fondling, they're canoodling. And then she looks up and sees a photo on his nightstand of him and another girl. And she goes, who is that? And he goes, oh, that's nobody. That's someone that I knew before I met you. 100% he has a girlfriend and is cheating on her with Jackie. Without a doubt in my mind. But this girl is so head over heels in love with this man that she is just taking everything he says for face value. Eliza's still at the party, but she leaves with Sugar and Poppy, who are Kevin and Anna's twins. And they actually were Eliza's closest friends and they did everything together, right? However, and this pisses me off sometimes about rich people too. They go to leave the party and they need to pick up Poppy's car from the valet. And surprise, surprise, Poppy left her wallet at home and Sugar goes, well, you know I never carry cash. And Eliza's like, okay, well, I guess I'll pay for the valet. And so she pays for that valet and they leave. They do not thank her at all. And I'm like, damn, was it like expected for her to pay, even though, they know her family situation? Because Sugar and Poppy, because they're the closest to her, they know everything that happened with her family. Kevin and Eliza's dad were best friends in college and they've been best friends this entire time. So they know her financial predicament. So for them to purposefully make her pay for the valet, that is sick and twisted. That is sick, twisted, evil, devious, diabolical. You got me fucked up. Absolutely got me fucked up. When they're in the car on the way home, Eliza actually tells the twins that, oh, I'm one of the au pairs that your dad hired to help watch the kids over the summer. And immediately, it's like a 180. They start treating her like absolute shit. Literally, Poppy looks at her and she's like, are you serious? And Sugar's like, oh, okay. She's trying to be nice about it, but she's heavily judging her. Remember that PlayStation party that they mentioned? Eliza asks the twins, like, are we gonna go? Like, what are you guys gonna wear? And the two of them are like, actually, I think we're just gonna call it a night. Like, I'm tired. And Eliza's like, yeah, okay. She goes back into their room, wakes Mara up, coming home at 2 a.m. She tells Mara, like, oh my God, that party was so good. You really missed out. And Mara looks at her and she was like, I wasn't invited. And Eliza, in her inner thoughts, at least she's self-aware. She thinks that, oh, yeah, she did invite her, and that was really mean of her to do to Mara. She does feel bad that she did that to Mara, especially because she left her with all of the kids. But karma comes back literally instantly, because as Eliza is trying to go to sleep, she hears some rumbling outside and she sees Sugar and Poppy sneaking out to go to that PlayStation party. Yeah, that's karma, babe. That's karma. The next day, Mara wakes Eliza up. It's noon at this point. Eliza's hungover. Mara tells her that Anna wants the three of them to take the kids to the beach today. Eliza wakes up and goes, "Where's Jackie?" And Mara goes, "Jackie never came home last night." And then Eliza literally goes, "Good for her." Love a supportive diva. And then Jackie enters the room literally seconds later, hickeys all over her neck, glowing, right? That afterglow, right? Made up for lost time. Yeah, she did. And then they end up going to the beach. On the way there, they drop Jackie off to get some snacks for the kids. They tell her, just meet us at the beach. Once they get to the beach though, Mara's trying to put sunscreen on William, but he literally takes off to go run towards the water before she can even finish putting all the sunscreen on him. And he ends up getting a sunstroke. Yeah. And then when they rush him to the hospital, the doctor knows the family because it's like a local doctor, right? Knows Anna. And she literally tells the girls, "I won't tell Anna, but just make sure you keep an eye on this guy. Okay." Mara feels guilty because she's like, "I should have made sure that he had all the sunscreen." And Eliza was like, "Well, he did run off, so it's not really her fault." And then Jackie feels completely guilty because she had left when she was supposed to be getting snacks for the kids. She ended up going to lunch with Luca and leaving them. These girls, their priorities, completely different. Then 2 weeks later, okay, I know, I'm sorry, I'm throwing so much information at you, but I just need to go through every detail with you guys because this shit is crazy. 2 weeks later, they've been watching these kids. Eliza starts to see all of the things, the nitpicky things that they have to do for these kids, and is like, this is a really fucking thankless job. Now that she has to do all the physical labor that she didn't have to do when she was the it girl, the it rich girl, she's like, this sucks. Mara has to peel every grape for Madison. Anna, for some reason, wants Cody to eat very thinly sliced, very finely cut up food instead of baby food. And so anytime they feed him, he projectile vomits. First of all, call CPS. That is child abuse, okay? But these girls, like, they have been taking turns feeding him because he literally vomits anytime that he eats. And so at this point, it's Jackie's turn, and she like comes out like all covered, and they both look at her like, "Oh, sorry, sis." There is some trauma bonding going on between the three of them. Then after they put the kids to bed, they steal liquor from Kevin's liquor cabinet and they decide to play a game of truth. Not truth and dare, just truth. And we find out some things. We find out that Jackie does think she's in love with Luca, who is actively cheating on her. She tells him about Luca, but as she does, she realizes that he's never really taken her out on a proper date. And anytime they hang out, it's always at his house, in his bedroom, or he drives her half an hour to an hour away from everything. And he's using the excuse that he just is tired of the social scene in the Hamptons as an excuse to like take her out. And so she kind of is like thinking something's up there. We find out that Mara has only slept with one person, which is her boyfriend, Jim. And the both of them are like, "Who's Jim?" And she's like, "My boyfriend. I talked about him like the first night." And she's like, "And you guys haven't realized that I open my laptop to email him every night." And she literally says that she's been maxing out her mobile minutes to talk to him every night. Oh, and then we find out that Eliza, our it girl Eliza, is actually a virgin. Wow. That's a plot twist I did not see coming. Then Eliza has 2 extra tickets to another party. Literally all these girls do at night is go to parties. But you know what? Good for them. Good for them. And so she decides to take Jackie and Mara out. At this party, Mara and Jackie see how Eliza is still lying to her old friends about what's going on in her life. She even tells them that Jackie is an exchange student and that Mara is a roommate from her boarding school that she goes to. The two of them confront her and are like, "Why are you lying to these people?" And she's like, "Look, I want to have a good summer and I don't want to worry about it. Like, please leave it alone." They basically vow to keep her secret. I know one of them is going to break for sure. The next day, Kevin and Anna set up a progress report day where, you know, the 3 girls are to basically give progress reports on all of the kids. The girls are freaking out because Mara's really the only one that's been responsible for these kids. Zoe was supposed to be reading, right? That was her focus for the summer. Eliza literally asks Mara, "What is Zoe supposed to be reading right now?" And Mara goes, "Hop on Pop." And Eliza goes, "That sounds like a porno." And Mara goes, "No, it's Dr. Seuss." And it's just funny the way that Jackie and Eliza literally know nothing about these kids. Jackie goes, "What are their names again?" I can't. And so they're like freaking out, trying to prep all these things. They go to, I think they're supposed to be meeting outside by the pool at their like little deck tables. And they wait there for hours. And then one of the maids comes and is like, oh my God, Lori forgot to tell you guys, Anna is out shopping and Kevin's out playing tennis. So the two of them didn't even have time to set aside to show up to this progress report that the au pairs are supposed to give about their own children. And that's that. Mara gets kind of annoyed at Jackie and Eliza because they really don't do anything unless Kevin happens to show up, and then they pretend that they're taking care of the kids. But she is kind of in her feelings because she wishes that they could get closer, but they're not really trying anything. The three of them are hanging out by the pool with all of the kids. There's a hot young gardener that kind of catches Eliza's eyes. And then Ryan pops up and joins them with the kids. And then Jackie informs them that Anna wants them to take the kids to a polo match that weekend, and they got a VIP booth. And Eliza's freaking out because she's like, I have no good outfits for a VIP polo match. And so she's like, we need to go shopping. And they had just gotten paid by Kevin and Anna, so they have some extra money to spend. Jackie and Eliza are like, yeah, let's go shopping. And Mara's like, oh, you guys can go. I'll watch the kids. And then Ryan, sweet Ryan, actually steps up to be an older brother for once and goes, no, Mara, go shopping. I'll watch the kids. Don't worry. And this whole time I'm thinking, yeah, why aren't Sugar, Poppy, and Ryan stepping in to help out with the kids? Because I was the nanny and au pair for my younger brother. During summers, we'd be here alone at home and I would be the one taking care of him. Yeah, Ryan, step up. Be an eldest brother, please. Thank you. The three of them go shopping. Cue y2k movie shopping montage. We love to see it. The entire time, Mara is low-key freaking out because she's looking at these prices and is like, what the fuck? I am not going to be able to afford any of this. But of course, Eliza and Jackie influence her into buying a really cute dress for the polo match and some cute flip-flops and sandals. So she does end up finding an outfit. And then as they're shopping, Jackie literally sees Luca on the opposite side of the street walking from the storefront window and runs out and is like, Luca. He literally looks at her with wide eyes and is like, oh, hey, Jackie, nice top. And then books it towards the other end of the street. And then she's realizing that they've never actually really hung out during the day. They only really hang out at night. She's starting to feel very icky about him, and as she should, because I know that man is cheating on his girlfriend with Jackie for sure. I know that for a fact. I know that in my gut. And it's crazy too because they're supposed to go on a date later that night. So why are you booking it and trying to avoid me? We're going on a date in a couple of hours. So then Eliza and Mara go to a party again. The girls, they're always finding parties to go to. And Jackie ends up going to her date with Luca. And I need to read this to you guys because when Eliza and Mara go to this party, okay, apparently there's some pop star named Chauncey Raven. And she's performing there and she's surrounded by her bodyguards, and she's described to be an 18-year-old most famous for bearing her toned midriff all the way down to her pelvis and declaring her virginity while sucking face with a crew of Hollywood hotheads, and was the latest tabloid phenomenon. And if that's not the most accurate portrayal of how people used to describe pop stars in the Y2K era, I don't know what is. But yeah, that's Chauncey Raven. Also, what a name. What a name. In some random corner, Mara ends up helping this paparazzo named Lucky Yap end up sneaking him into the party because he's like a well-known photographer, well-known paparazzo that tries to get all these photographs, and he's usually on these lists, but Chauncey Raven's PR team specifically blocked him because he got a really bad photo of her and still chose to publish it. At the party, Mara bumps into Ryan and he introduces her to his friends, and he introduces her as one of his friends. And she was like, oh my God, I love that he introduced me not as an au pair, not as a nanny to his siblings, but as his friend. And I thought that was really sweet. I mean, the bar is fucking low. The bar is set in hell. And then Lucky asks if he can take a photo of the two of them, so he does. Meanwhile, as they're at this party, Jackie's on her romantic date with Luca. And by romantic date, he takes her to a beach an hour away. They have a picnic on the beach with sandwiches and beers. And mind you, his friend Leo joins them. And Jackie is watching as the two of them are rolling joints and smoking weed. This man hates her. And he hates his girlfriend. Anyway, they start running out of rolling paper, so Luca goes to the car to find more rolling paper. Leo gets to know Jackie more, and she kind of slowly starting to realize how shitty Luca is being to her. And she's like, I thought I loved him. Like, she literally uses the word love. I'm like, girl, the way that you travel to a different country for this man, and he can't even take you out on a proper date. His friend is on this date with you. Girl. Jackie, get up. Then we cut back to the party and the night's over. Chauncey Raven has left. A lot of people have left. The club lights are turned on. Eliza left, and Mara and Ryan are still talking and spending time with each other. And they really had like a heart to heart. She goes home with him and he's like, are you tired? And she's like, not really. And he's like, okay, well, meet me outside and I'll start a bonfire for us. And so she does. And again, they have more of a heart to heart and they end up falling asleep outside, not knowing literally the last sentence of this chapter. The next day, page 6 ran 2 photos. One of Chauncey Raven straddling the current Wimbledon champ in the VIP room. Iconic. The other was of Mara and Ryan under the headline, Has the Perry Heir Found Love? 10 out of motherfucking 10. Absolutely no notes. Guys, this is giving me the teen summer drama that I was looking for in this vlog. That is the update for now. It is 11:21 p.m. and usually I would not go to bed anytime soon because, again, you guys know I'm a night owl, but I have a trunk show this weekend for work and I've been working like 10-hour days. I'm exhausted. So I'm going to go to bed, but I will continue on tomorrow and hopefully I will finish the last half of this book tomorrow and be able to complete this and either move on to the second book or read the other Melissa Dela Cruz I have on my TBR. Yeah, that's the update for now. Eating this up, obsessed, iconic, loving it. All right, guys, I have officially finished the Au Pairs. And wow, the events that have transpired since I last saw you, buck wild. This obviously came out in the early 2000s. So if you've read any recent YA books or any YA books past 2010, then some of these tropes and some of the drama that is in here might seem redundant. They've been done before. We've seen it before, but this came out before all of those books. Okay. So when this first came out, I was gooped and gagged because this drama I'd never read before. Do you know what I mean? So last we left off, the party happened and Ryan and Mara are now a thing, photographed together, a thing. Right after that, Eliza and her 2 friends, Lindsay and Taylor, who she's lying to about what she's actually going through. They're having a hungover debrief at brunch about the party the night before, and we love to see it because we still do that to this day. Yeah. Then they get the paper and they read that page 6 article about Mara and Ryan, and they're a little bit gagged by it. Lindsay and Taylor start talking about how hot Mara looks and how chic she is and how she's the new it girl. And Eliza agrees with them, but she realizes how superficial it all is because she knows that if they knew that Mara was an au pair, they would not be talking about her that same way. So when she tells them that Mara happens to be one of the au pairs for Kevin Perry, they start talking shit about her instead. And it proves her point further, how superficial these friends are. So a little bit of growth, I don't know. I mean, she did, like, Mara caught a stray, and I have to read you guys because when Eliza tells them that she's an au pair, one of them literally goes, au pair? Is that what they're calling them now? Isn't that just a euphemism for a foreign sex slave? And then one of them goes, Ryan's dating the housekeeper, so he's like slumming it. It's crazy how quickly their opinions changed, but that just goes to show you, to Eliza's point, how superficial it all is. And then we cut to the polo match, which is what's like the event of the season, right? All the girls are giggling over the hot players. Ryan finds out that Mara has a boyfriend because Jim calls her during that polo match and she answers the phone in front of Ryan. And he goes, who's that? And she's like, oh, my boyfriend. And he's like, oh, you have a boyfriend. Interesting. And then he literally turns around, goes to the next girl that he knew was interested in him and starts flirting with her. I can't. And then Eliza has a run-in with that gardener, that hot young gardener that was working on the Perry's lawn, and he's working this party as one of the cater waiters. And he kind of flirts with Eliza, and she has an attraction towards him, but she knows her from 2 different worlds, so it's not going to happen, right? Jackie sees Luca at the polo match with, surprise, surprise, his girlfriend. We knew it. We called it. We knew that was going to happen from a mile away, babe. She goes up to him to confront him, but he ends up introducing the two of them and basically giving Jackie the eyes, like, don't say anything, don't out us. And Jackie goes along with it and is just like, oh, hi, I'm like one of the au pairs for the girls. When she goes back to Mara and Eliza, Jackie tells them, oh, that's Luca. And Eliza looks at her like, Luke is the Luca that you're talking about? Jackie's like, yeah, why? And Eliza goes, he's one of the biggest playboys in the Hamptons. Everyone knows that he has a different girl every other month. He's broken so many of these girls' hearts because he just hops from one girl to one girl. And Eliza was like, had you told me that this was your Luca, I would have told you to back away from him a long time ago. And again, we're not shocked. We knew that. After Jackie learns about that, she drunkenly hooks up with Leo, Luca's best friend. Yeah, I love how messy this teenage drama is. I really do. The next chapter, Mara tells Jim off. She literally tells him, you treat me like a piece of shit. I deserve better than this. Hangs up on him. We love a queen that stands up for herself, although she shouldn't be with him to begin with. In the same vein, there is another party that they're at. They're always at a fucking party. Mara sees Ryan flirting and kissing that one girl. And she's thinking, oh, okay. But also, girl, you have a boyfriend. But we know how that goes, right? And then for a couple of chapters, we see Jackie with Leo and they're hooking up and all this stuff. Jackie has sort of a come to Jesus moment where she realizes that she's been the girl who always had a boyfriend. And she's always either been talking to a guy, dating a guy, hooking up with a guy. Like she's always had a boyfriend. She's having these thoughts literally as she's hooking up with Leo and accidentally calls him Luca. And Leo goes, sorry, what did you just call me? And then she goes, oh, I said Leo. I said Leo. And she kind of plays it off, but it's like, girl, he knew. He knew. I'm like jumping from chapter to chapter because so like these chapters start to get shorter and shorter as time goes by. And so things are just happening. Right? We're not really like moving from a cohesive day to another cohesive day. We're moving from moment to moment. Okay. So in the next moment, Eliza and Mara are talking to Lindsay and Taylor, which is, Eliza's friends. They tell Mara and Eliza that Ryan's new girl, the girl that he was like flirting with and, kissing, used to be one of the old au pairs for the kids. He actually has a history of flirting and hooking up with the au pairs. So now Mara's like, oh, so I'm just another one of them. But she can't deny that she likes this guy. And these girls, you got to understand, like these girls, they have like zero self-esteem, truly. and I was honestly fighting for my life because I'm like, girls, we need to let these men go. We really do. Let's focus on having fun and making the most of being in the Hamptons and stop worrying about these boys. Stop worrying about these boys. They are playing you guys like fucking puppets. But that doesn't even stop Mara because the next party that they have after it, he asks her to play Scrabble to make up for that game that they never had. And they have a heart-to-heart while they're playing this Scrabble game. Ryan confesses that his real mom, Kevin's first wife, is manic depressive. He kind of knew what was going on with her. And so she is away. She's still alive. She's very estranged from her kids and everything. Then Mara kind of confesses how she's struggling to even pay to go to college. And so they do have a heart-to-heart. But also I'm like, this whole time though, Mara still is with Jim because she hasn't broken up with him. She will, but like she hasn't broken up with him yet. Ryan is still hooking up with this girl. Anyway, Eliza and Jeremy, who was that gardener, start hooking up. No shock there. They also have a heart-to-heart. And she admits to him that being in the Hamptons now that she is poor, she didn't realize how spoiled she used to be, especially because now she sees how her friends treat service workers like her and Jeremy and, other people that they know aren't as rich as them. And she used to be that girl. And she sees now that she's on the other side of it, just how bad that treatment is. But she also admits to missing that lifestyle. So then Anna and Kevin are going to take all 4 of the kids to the city in New York. And they basically have all of these meetings with their teachers and they're like prepping them for the start of the new school year, basically. So they're going to be gone for a whole week. And that means the girls are free for the week. And Ryan is planning on throwing a party while his parents and his siblings are gone at the house. The party ends up being packed. He asks Sugar and Poppy to invite a small amount of people. They invite everyone in the Hamptons. At this party, certain things happen. Eliza sneaks away with Jeremy because she doesn't want anyone in the party to kind of see that she's with him or that she's interacting with him. And then Jackie has been shacked up with Leo this entire time. She's definitely doing it out of spite. Doing it out of revenge because she wants to get back at Luca. She doesn't actually have any feelings towards Leo whatsoever. This is revenge for her. It does work because at this party, Luca does see them and he gets insanely jealous. And actually, he gets pissed. He actually accuses Leo, word for word, of tapping his bitch. Yeah. These boys are vile. And this whole time, Jackie's like, hello, I'm right here. Why are you talking about me like I'm not here? And why are you calling me that? And the thing is, like, the way that this is structured, like a moment like that happens, and then we jump to the next scene, and it's a snapshot of one of the other girls in whatever situation they're in, right? So that happens. And then we have Eliza takes Jeremy to one of the rooms in the house and they start hooking up. And then another couple stumbles in to start hooking up. And it just so happens to be her ex-boyfriend, Charlie, and Ryan's sister, Sugar, one of the twins, one of her so-called best friends. But Charlie and Sugar also see that she's with the gardener. And Charlie tells her, Liza, I didn't know you had it in you to go slumming. And then Eliza, looking at Sugar, goes, I didn't know you did either, Charlie. Ate both of them up. Sure did. And then as they're having this whole showdown, Lindsay and Taylor stumble in because they're looking for Eliza and Sugar. And that happens right as Eliza says, I didn't know you did either. And so then Sugar's obviously pissed and she outs Eliza as one of the au pairs. And all of her friends, well, all of her old friends are gagged. 10 out of 10, no notes there. And then the next chapter, the party's coming to a close. Everyone's leaving. And then we have Mara and Ryan at the end of the night by the pool playing strip poker. And at this point, they're down to their underwear. Mara loses the game and she ends up naked. Ryan decides to just join her and be naked too. And they end up going in the pool and they're flirting, having fun and playing. They're about to kiss. And then something in the corner of Mara's eye causes her to look up. And who the fuck is standing at the edge of the pool? Jim. Jim, baby. Jim is in the Hamptons. Yep, yes, he is. Then they get into it. Jim calls Mara a slut and a whore. The boys in this book are vile, okay? And then Ryan defends her and is like, don't talk to her that way. Do not call her that. Who the fuck even are you? Mara breaks up with him and then Jim leaves. The next day, the kids are back and the girls are miserable because they are all hungover. Not shocking. Eliza and Mara take the kids to watch a movie because they can't do anything in the light right now. They end up having a heart-to-heart and confessing to each other that Eliza had that whole confrontation with Jeremy and her old friends, and that Mara had that whole confrontation with Jim and Ryan. And then they end up fighting. Like they have a heart-to-heart and then they end up fighting because someone takes something the wrong way. And I'm like, girls, what is going on? Like you two are literally communicating and talking to each other about your feelings and then you end up fighting. I don't know. Then they have their first and only progress report. They were supposed to have these progress reports with Anna and Kevin weekly. That obviously didn't happen because Anna and Kevin are not present parents, right? And so they have their first and only progress report, and they basically lie about the progress that all of the kids are making. And then Eliza finds out that Jeremy quit. So then now we are nearing the end of summer. We have the last Saturday of August, and there is a benefit that's going on in the Hamptons for ovarian cancer. Eliza's friends see that she's working and managing the kids with Jackie and Mara, and they make fun of her, and she kind of just like pretends that they don't exist. Mara calls Jim and he apologizes, but then he tells her that he met someone. What are you So you drove all the way to the Hamptons. You call me a slut and a whore, but you met someone? And now you're breaking up with me because you met... I can't. Anyway, they break up. I can't keep up with this shit. Eliza and Mara make up because their fight was so fucking stupid to begin with. Jackie ditches them again, and they're fed up at this point because they're like, you are nowhere to be found. We had to do this whole progress report without you. You are always off with Leo. Like, what the hell is happening? Jackie leaves them again at this benefit to meet up with that married rich guy from the beginning who dropped her off in the Hummer limo. Because he told her, or he made it seem like he was going to hire her for this commercial or something. And he proposes it as a party for Sting. And it's going to be televised and all this stuff. When she gets there, everyone is literally like 10 years older than her, minimum. All of the women start stripping down to their underwear. And she's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm a minor. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then the guy goes, come on, you said you wanted to have fun. You said you wanted to be a star. And she's like, not like this. She makes an excuse to go to the bathroom, takes out her cell phone and calls Luca to pick her up. He dismisses her and hangs up on her. She calls Leo, who also blows her off. And then of course she calls the girls and they come running to rescue her, as girls should. They're truly girls for each other, for the most part. They pick her up, they take her to Denny's, and they update each other on everything that's happening in each other's lives. They all make up and they all decide to get their boys. Well, Mara and Eliza decide to fight for their boys, Jeremy and Ryan. And Jackie decides that she needs to not fight for any boy. She's done with men. And you know what? Period. We love an independent queen. We love a girl that has been so fed up with boys that she decides to choose herself. We really do. We love that. So of course, Mara gets Ryan and she's like, but I thought, you always pick the au pairs. And he's like, well, you're the one that I want. I don't want anyone else. Sure, we'll see how long that lasts, right? Eliza tells Jeremy that she loves him. I don't know where in between hooking up and then him quitting, she found feelings strong enough for her to tell him that she loves him, but here we are. He sees her for who she really is. Poor little Cinderella. You know what I mean? So then they end up together. Mara and Ryan are together. They have the last progress report with Anna at the end of the summer, and the kids actually did make progress. Like Zoe's reading, the baby's a baby. William is still taking his meds, but I guess he calmed down a little bit. And Madison is now taking gymnastics instead of ballet. And then Anna confesses that they actually let the old au pairs go because they were out partying too much. And that just goes to show you how little she's paying attention to these girls because they were also out partying every night. However, I think they at least were present enough, made a bare minimum effort enough to where Anna actually saw them with the kids so that it looked like they were doing more than the old au pairs were. But I mean, these girls were still out every night. Then they have the last party of the season, which was P. Diddy's white party. And the fact that that's mentioned here, anyway, we're going to just not even address that. Eliza confronts Lindsay, Taylor, Sugar, and Poppy, and she chooses being friends with Mara and Jackie over all of them, and we love to see that. Jeremy shows up, they make up. Two guys hit on Jackie. She completely ignores them. She ends up going off with Kit, who was the only guy throughout this whole thing that actually treated her like a fucking human being and not a Barbie doll. And she just goes with him to have fun as a friend. She was like, Mara has Ryan, Eliza has Jeremy. I'm just going off with him as a friend, but I'm done dating. Like, I can't do this anymore. And you know what? Good for her. Good for her. And then on their last night, the three of them snuggle in bed together and they talk about how they'll miss each other, but they'll see each other during Christmas break because I guess they're going to have 2 weeks of winter break and Anna and Kevin want them back for that. They can't handle 2 weeks with their own children. Okay. Anyway, so they're going to be back, but they're going to miss each other because they all live in different parts of the country, well, world, really. And they all snuggle and talk about how they really did have the best summer of their lives. Did they? Did they really have the best summer of their lives? Because to me, that sounds like the worst summer of my life. Truly. All of that drama, I can't. But you guys know me. I ate this shit up. I really did. I ate every morsel, every crumb of that drama. Oh my God. And it was one thing after the next. Yeah, I was eating this shit up. I had such a fun time with this. This was truly the summer YA drama of my dreams. I want this to get fucking adapted. I need to watch this train wreck unfold before my very eyes. Oh my God, how fucking fun was this? This was truly 17 was correct. This was a guilty pleasure beach read. It sure was. Loved it. Loved the chaos, loved the mess, loved the drama. Ate it up. I'm not reading the second book because I think I'm good. I think I've had enough. I think I did what I needed to do with this and I got what I wanted out of it. So I am ending it here. I wanted to read Fresh Off the Boat in the same video, but I think that takes place over the school year. And this was such a fun summer read that now I just want to continue the summer vibes. So I don't actually think I'm going to read Fresh Off the Boat in this vlog. I think I'm just going to end it here and start a new vlog with another summer book because this put me in the summer mood, baby. It really did. I want another summer beach read, because there's really nothing like YA summer drama. There really isn't. I ate this shit up. Actually, I like that it's summer and it's condensed to 3 months because then I'm not reading a whole fucking school year. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that was me reading the au pairs. Thank you for continuing to stick with me on this journey. I'm having the best time. I really am. I am loving every bit of this journey. That was the au pairs. Thank you for joining me and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Bye.